the political class is in turmoil following the former president's unveiling of Alligator Alcatraz in the Florida Everglades. Is this stringent new policy a bold move to uphold American sovereignty, or merely another instance of elite indignation clashing with common sense?
Hello, and welcome to That News Show, where we discuss the latest facts, fakes, and hypocrisy as reported by the legacy media. Let's roll the tape.
Perhaps the real scandal is the delay in adopting such decisive measures. Critics in mainstream media may label this as cruelty, yet it's essential to question who truly benefits from border chaos. Fox News reports that President Donald Trump has inaugurated a new detention facility dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, deep in the Everglades. They argue that it's inhumane, but let's consider the broader picture. This initiative prioritizes American sovereignty and public safety over the preferences of global elites and advocates for open borders. This bold move has sparked a frenzy among the political class, particularly among Democrats. Buckle up, folks.
This facility will house some of the most menacing migrants, some of the most vicious people on the planet. We're surrounded by miles of treacherous swampland, and the only way out is really deportation. We took the FEMA money that Joe Biden allocated to pay for the free luxury hotel rooms, where he's paying hundreds of millions of dollars in New York City, and we used it to build this project.
But right on schedule, the liberal media and Democrats just took the bait on Alligator Alcatraz.
Alligators rarely attack people. Pythons rarely attack people. That is extremely performative.
They definitely want to scare people.
It's wasteful and an incredible risk to our ecological resources.
These are our friends and our neighbors. These are people who are picking our crops.
Ron DeSantis is still governor of Florida. He took the Comfy Couch hosts on a tour of the concentration camp that he's building in Florida in order to round up people, brown people, and throw them in a camp because he doesn't want them in Florida.
Greg, Joy Reid is so full of it. The couch is not comfy.
No, not at all. It's very stiff. Look.
The exaggerated fears about wildlife are merely distractions from the core issues, securing our borders and upholding the rule of law. This is the leadership that Americans have long demanded and are now receiving. These critics seem more concerned with preserving their political narratives than with protecting American communities from genuine threats. Predictably, some media outlets and political figures have criticized the facility, using terms like concentration camp and decrying alleged cruelty. Rather than spending hundreds of millions on luxury accommodations in New York City, Florida has taken decisive action, setting those funds to build a facility that targets the most dangerous criminals among illegal migrants. Despite opposition and legal challenges, the majority of Americans support secure borders and a government that prioritizes their needs over those of foreign nationals or international agendas. The message is clear. Violent criminals, fentanyl traffickers, and gang members will face serious consequences and swift deportation. At its heart, this situation exposes a disconnect between the political and media elites and the general American public. The new facility in the Everglades exemplifies what can be achieved when leadership prioritizes the safety and security of American citizens over the typical political posturing. This approach starkly contrasts with the previous administration's policies, which encouraged illegal crossings and led to chaos in cities nationwide. They overlook that the facility includes medical services, legal advisors, and air-conditioned units, which hardly paints a picture of inhumanity. While some focus on globalist agendas and foreign issues, this administration is concentrating on American priorities, protecting our communities, defending our sovereignty, and prioritizing the interests of our citizens. This facility marks a positive step forward, and it's time for other states to follow Florida's lead.
But it no longer works because they showed an overwhelming lack of compassion for the victims of sex trafficking among illegals, the victims of rape and murder of illegals. So you can't lecture us on empathy or compassion when all of yours are for the perpetrator. The great thing about Trump and what the left misses, he knows how to sell something. He knows that you incentivize with words. He causes his message to do the heavy lifting. Right? So if you're an illegal with an opportunity to leave, you could leave now or take your chances and end up in a place surrounded by alligators. It might not even exist. It doesn't matter. He creates this in your head, which is why it's not surprising. 1 million people have already self-deported because there were 4 words that served as the message. Biden's out, Trump's in. We better leave. So this is great.
The new facility in the Everglades is a direct response to this shift, addressing the needs of real victims affected by sex trafficking, violent crime, and the consequences of unchecked illegal immigration. As we move forward, there will likely be increased pressure on other states to adopt similar measures, and on Congress to provide the necessary funding to keep Americans safe. This selective empathy no longer resonates with the majority of Americans who are now demanding effective solutions and accountability. Gone are the days of empty rhetoric and performative compassion by politicians who once prioritized the feelings and legal rights of those entering the country illegally over the safety and dignity of American citizens. They ignored the plight of Americans harmed by criminals who exploited a porous border while preaching about compassion and inclusion. Voters are increasingly rejecting globalist agendas and foreign interventions, opting instead for leaders who prioritize domestic interests, defending American values, preserving cultural identity, and ensuring that the government serves its people first. Despite criticism from some Democratic circles and media about alleged cruelty and environmental damage, these claims are overshadowed by strong public support for secure borders and adherence to the rule of law. The contrast is stark. One side offers empty platitudes and open borders, while the other delivers tangible results and restores order. Critics often overlook the facility's amenities and legal safeguards, choosing instead to score political points rather than addressing the real issues stemming from lax enforcement. This change isn't merely about deterring illegal entry, it's about restoring justice for those who have suffered. Voluntary departures have increased, and the psychological impact of a facility surrounded by natural barriers is proving more effective than the previous policy of catch and release.
Alligator Alcatraz sounds like it came from the makers of Sharknado, but it's all part of the message of self-deportation, and he is a master at it. It's hilarious.
Then on the messaging, it's almost like Trump is good cop and bad cop, because they're saying he's leaning into the alligator thing. He's talking about, you step here, you step that way, you're still going to die if you run from them. But then they're also saying, hey, listen, it's air conditioned. You've got all the resources. This isn't hell on earth. It's a perfectly suitable prison. And I guess in that way, he kind of neuters their attacks, but also leans into the messaging he wants.
Right.
Even as critics decry the facility's conditions as harsh, Fox highlights the amenities provided, such as air conditioning, medical care, and legal resources, challenging accusations of inhumanity and undermining exaggerated claims by Democratic politicians and activists. The coverage occasionally falls short by overly relying on administration talking points and supportive Republican voices, often neglecting independent expert analysis. The network's coverage, replete with vivid imagery of alligator-infested swamps and the facility's isolated setting, emphasizes the severe consequences of illegal entry for individuals with criminal records. Fox News has effectively tapped into the spectacle of Alligator Alcatraz, drawing parallels to cinematic extravaganzas like Sharknado. Fox News' coverage is notable for its clarity and staunch defense of American sovereignty and public safety. These visuals effectively communicate the seriousness of the administration's measures and the challenges surmounted to operationalize the facility swiftly. This narrative strikes a chord with Americans disillusioned by the unfulfilled promises and protracted debates among political elites, particularly those on the left who prioritize global narratives over domestic safety. As the debate progresses and legal challenges continue, the true test will be whether other states will emulate this approach and prioritize American interests. Aerial views of the facility, detailed graphics of its remote location in the Everglades, and dramatic swampland footage underscore the narrative of stringent deterrence. Fox excels in its unwavering focus on crime victims rather than perpetrators. The network adeptly highlights the disconnect between the political elite and everyday Americans, offering a refreshing perspective in an era often dominated by global priorities and virtue signaling. Including neutral legal or environmental experts could address ongoing lawsuits and ecological concerns more comprehensively, enhancing the segment's credibility and addressing accusations of biased reporting. By prioritizing the security of citizens over the comfort of illegal entrants, this administration is delivering tangible results that resonate with working families and communities nationwide.
They said if you're getting sent there simply because you're here illegal and you don't have a record that they want to put you in jail for, and I think it's right out of President Trump's mouth, is or maybe it was Ron DeSantis said, you could be at the gate of this place and choose to self-deport. But if you're a murderer or rapist, if you have those kind of charges, the worst of the worst, then they're going to keep you there.
This system rewards law-abiding behavior and targets only those who pose a real threat. Critics have labeled this approach cruel, but such claims are contradicted by the facts. This disconnect highlights how out of touch they are with the concerns of ordinary Americans who simply want their communities safe and their tax dollars used effectively. The truth is, only those who pose a danger to society have any reason to fear this approach. This policy clearly delineates the options for those in the country illegally, voluntarily leave, or face prompt deportation. By reallocating funds from so-called migrant support in sanctuary cities, Florida is showcasing decisive, efficient, and fiscally responsible action. Rooting common sense and a commitment to American families, this policy has led to an increase in voluntary departures and has prompted other states to consider Florida's approach as a model for effective governance. For individuals convicted of severe crimes such as murder or rape, the policy is uncompromising. The facility is specifically designed to remove dangerous offenders from our communities, preventing them from exploiting legal loopholes to stay in the country. The reaction from the political and media establishment has been predictably dismissive, resorting to outdated rhetoric and fear-mongering rather than acknowledging the improvements in public safety and fiscal management. It's akin to managing a household budget, rather than squandering money on temporary or extravagant solutions that fail to address the core issues. Florida is investing in a sustainable solution that ensures the safety and integrity of its communities. The contrast with previous administrations, which prioritized virtue signaling over practical solutions, couldn't be starker. Can you believe this? Today's events go beyond mere headlines. They remind us of the genuine connection that resonates with the American people. Tonight, the real story isn't about distractions or spectacles. It's about who truly believes in America. While media elites and globalist bureaucrats may mock and dismiss, President Trump steadfastly supports ordinary Americans, resisting the contrived outrage from the left. We need a return to common sense, to sovereignty, and to a government that serves its people, not the other way around. Perhaps this disconnection led to their vision's failure. The previous administration, led by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, spent years dictating our values while neglecting the nation's core. Be sure to comment below, give a like, and subscribe. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned for the next one.